So look, you do a lot of different things. I mean, come on, like how many jobs do you have, lady?
Oh my God, about a million. But I'm definitely a multi-talented type of woman. You know, I'm a lawyer, I'm a mortician, I'm a funeral director, um, author, mom, you know,
It's a
to
lot.
name a few. It seems like, I do a little plumbing around the house, I'm a cook, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it needs, I think I'm a little part-time electrician sometimes, I do a few things.
I gotta see that for myself. I'm actually not
When
believing
I
that
tell you,
one.
I can put in a dimmer, I know how to work. I can tell you which chords to connect. I mean, I'm pretty technical.
All right, we gonna see. So, what inspires you to do all of those things though? Because sometimes folks get good at one thing, they thrive in that, and that's it. But why go so hard in so
Well,
many places?
really, anything that I love to do, I do it. When I was young, I loved to ride horses. So, I went to school. I was on the equestrian team because I loved horses. I love to talk. So when I was growing up, I always thought I was going to be like a talk show host, to be honest,
Mm.
because I was like really talkative, but I love politics. So, it's like, oh, I'll be a politician. They can talk, blah, blah. Long story short, I've got a lot of politicians in my family, but I started researching politics and politicians. All of them seem to be lawyers. So I said, okay, if I can, do the legal route, then I
Hmm.
can, be a lawyer. That would give me the credibility, but I could be in politics. And, pretty much most lawyers become presidents. Not, I don't want to be a president.
I mean,
I'm
come on,
not
speak
yet,
life, queen. Go ahead,
but
speak life.
don't know. But
Okay.
But I just knew that getting the law degree and passing the bar would really open up so many different inroads for me. And so I was like,
Yeah.
let me become a lawyer so that I could do. And my child is a Justin, he is a perfectionist. So yeah, so I just knew like if I got the law degree, that would really give me the credibility to really do whatever I wanted to do. And so from there, it's just like things morphed into other things.
So when are we going to see like a bid for public office from you?
You know, the thing about politics is sometimes politics, um,
Phaedra, don't hit me. Don't hit me with the political little answer. Come on, man.
because, okay, so Shivy and I, we met at a political sort of rally.
Right.
So you already know you have to really sometimes break yourself to be a great politician. And um, I love it, but I love to be able to really speak my mind. I like to do what I want to do. I like to say what I want to say. And, I think I'm more valuable giving them money than being one
Mm.
because the money is what propels politicians.
But
You know
it's
that.
also the thing that can allow us to have politicians that are free from outside influence. Like
Yeah.
if you got it already, you get what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say? Like
Fact.
if
Yeah.
you got it already and
You
we
ain't
know
putting
you
up.
working on behalf of the people, then we can
Bingo.
trust you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But it's them thirsty ones that's looking for a coin from everybody and they for everybody. And then we end up with situations like the one we trying to work against where you're willing
Okay.
to go against your own people, you willing to go against your own community for the sake of a dollar or an endorsement or being
Or a
next to
car.
somebody.
Or a free
Hello.
car. Hello.
Hello.
Ching ching.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so
Oh, no, I
I
know.
encourage you, really, I encourage you to take a shot at that. We need to see that. We need more black women.
Yeah, well, we got, we black women, this. Black women have always played a very significant role in politics because we vote.
Right.
We are voters. And
And
so
always pick the right candidates.
that's right. That's right. That the vagina causes you to do powerful things.
Okay. What she said. Why
It's
not?
so powerful.
Is it? Okay. So
But
look, you
but
got
I
you
love politics. I mean, God has been so good to me. I have been to the White House probably more than I ever thought I would in my, how as a child, when I was growing up, I've never seen a black person. Obviously, your generation has, and I have as well. But you just didn't see us at the White House. And I
Right.
mean, when I tell you, I have been so many times. My kids have been, and so to just have access, and that's what
Right.
we need as people of color, to have access.
They don't
And so
understand
that's
what
what
that
I'm
looks like.
always, yeah, we need to know, like my boys know, they know what it looks like to be in the White House. They know what it looks like to be, in places of power. And that's what we've got to show our children, that we can be in places of power and we don't have to be lame to do it.
Right. And I think our everyday kid needs to see it. And that's kind of
Oh,
like
yeah.
another reason why I appreciate you being present, because look, I'm a high school teacher, and for my high school kids or even other educators see me have access and reach to people like yourself, that shows us like we're not as separated as people think. And it also shows them that all of us have a seat at the table. Like we've really
Bingo.
just got to claim our spots.
You're right. You're definitely right. And like that's why I started my foundation, because I've always been very active. Even when Black Lives wasn't a trendy thing to do, I was always run.
Right.
I go up for Black people.
When
Yeah.
you're looking at like men, or and this is just, look, I know we got marriage boot camp, we know sis, sidebar, yo, I don't even watch reality TV like that. I did find myself watching marriage boot camp, and I texted you that night. I was like, yo, you a fool, man. Like, what's wrong with you? But in looking at like dating men and looking at Black men to who could be viable options for you, how do you gauge that? Like when you've reached a certain level of success, how do you choose who to be open to?
Well, I mean, to be honest, for me, obviously, everybody knows from watching The Housewives, I was married for 8 years, almost 8 years. And I married someone that I had been dating since teenage years. So I had obviously dated other people, but I went back to something I was familiar with, because I knew he knew me before I was ever famous, before I was ever, a lawyer, and was crazy about me when I was, a teenager, or what have you. So, but to me, at this part of my life, obviously I've had children, so I'm sort of done with that. I'm dating to really be with someone that I can have fun with, that can be a good guide to me and my sons. So but I can't date people that obviously don't share the same core values and can't afford this lifestyle that I live.
Well, so that was my next
Because,
question. Does he have to be rich and famous? Like, is he?
no, he ain't got to be famous, but he might have to be rich, because I like my life, and I can't go back. I can't go back. I tried to go back, and that didn't do me good. So I got to move forward. I mean, and I'm just keeping it 100, y'all.
That's how you
I mean, I
feel?
already did that, and it didn't work for me.
We
So
we not doing regular pockets. Phaedra said, y'all.
Yeah, we not. We can't.
You better have a big bag if you want to ride that ride, y'all.
I mean, and you don't have to have a big bag, but your bag got to be comparable to my bag, because I don't want you to try to get into my bag.
Stop playing like that's not a very big bag, Phaedra. Come on.
Everybody needs to be able to pay their own way. And I don't want you to feel.
Yeah, but they weigh onto a yacht and a and they weigh on Marta are not the same thing.
But everybody's at, I'm used to living a certain way, so that's what I'm comfortable with. So,
And you should get no
if you
less.
if you want to move to the private or the first class, come along. But if you're comfortable in coach, then I'm not mad at you. But you're gonna have to stay in coach, and I'm gonna have to visit, and then go back to the private.
Ooh, not on your way to the bathroom, though. Ooh. You got your two sons, okay? You got all this stuff going on in the world right now. How do you talk to them about being cognizant of the world and what's happening?
You know what? My sons have watched me do the Trayvon Martin case, do commentary for that. They've watched me march. They've been in the company of Louis Farrakhan. They've been to the White House. They've been to the Million Man March. they have been present because that's what we do as people of color, and that's what I'm showing them to really fight for equality. Because of course they are being raised a certain way, and what I have never wanted for them is to think that because they live a very affluent lifestyle that they will be perceived as anything other than black once they leave Buckhead. So getting back to that, so my kids, I'm into hard news. So we watch a lot of CNN, Bloomberg all night long. And so they see hard news and they know, but they see people come to the house that are, elected officials, and we have hard conversations and they interact with those people. And so they have been put in a position where they hear the stories about crime, punishment. They, obviously have iPads and phones, and so
Right.
they can see the George Floyd scenario. And my youngest son asked me first, like, why would the police step on the man and have him under the car? Because he just could not understand that. And so I
Right.
had to explain to him that sometimes, bad things happen to people, not because of anything beyond their skin color. Sometimes people see you and make a judgment, a swift judgment, because you are a person of color, or you look a certain way, or you dressed a certain way. And so we really talk about what it's like to be black, and not black and affluent, but just black, because you don't walk around with your resume. You don't walk around with your mom's bank account pasted to your back. When they leave outside of my house, they just see a little black boy.
Right.
They don't know where he's from.
Right.
They don't know what he's doing. And most times they don't care. And so I think, and I talked about this last week on Entertainment Tonight. When I was growing up, my mom integrated her school, I think her middle school.
Oh, wow.
But she never really talked about the, racial struggles, because I think that was so hurtful to them. We grew up middle class, and she was a school teacher.
Your mom was
So
a teacher.
yeah, my mom's a retired teacher.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I love teachers. Yeah.
Okay,
Love
so
them.
you got some teacher strikes with us. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I got my grandmother. My grandmother's one of the first African American women to graduate from University of Georgia. Yeah. So I'm fourth generation graduate of University of Georgia. But that's to say, my grandmother, went to Stillman College, went to University of Georgia. I watched her work her way up through education, because people don't really have the historical perspective to know that it has only been a few generations that we have been able to become lawyers, that we've been able to become physicians. We were
Right.
physicians in our own neighborhood, but, like I went to the University of Georgia School of Law, and the first African American
Everybody shouting out, "Go Dogs."
yeah, but the first African American graduate is a good friend of mine. He
Yeah.
just retired from the Supreme Court of Georgia. He
Wow.
is not even 70 years old.
Wow.
So that lets you know, if he is the first graduate, it hasn't been that long that we have been allowed access.
I was
And in
just,
my
I talk to
graduating
people
class,
all the time about the fact that, listen, if you're in your 30s, 40s,
yeah,
hell, not even some people in their 50s, we're the first generation of black Americans to be born with full rights. Like, people,
yeah,
it's always like, why y'all still talk about this? Like, what? We just got here.
we just got here.
And
We
we ain't even here. We like
we
at the
really
door.
we are really not here, because even in the city of Atlanta, with policing, they did not integrate African American officers with white officers until the 70s. To the
Wow.
mid 70s, and people don't
Wow.
even know that. So
So
when
you
people
talking 40
say,
years ago.
yeah, that is
40, 50.
no
Wow,
time.
that's crazy.
And this is a chocolate city. So think in a city where black people aren't as vocal, black people aren't as well educated. So when people say to me, "Oh, Phaedra, why are you still talking about this?" Because we need to put a historical perspective on it so that people understand it's not that long that we've had this access. It's not that long that we've had opportunities. I can name 3 of my friends that are the first black CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. So we have not always been at the table.
Right.
And you have to realize that. And so when people say to me, like, even with, reality TV, that is very new. I worked on Being Bobby Brown. I worked for Whitney Houston and Bobby. That was the first breaking ground reality show. And how long ago was that? That hasn't even been 20 years ago.
Right.
But people don't even realize that they're, in the mindset that, oh, they've been on TV, they've had these opportunities, they've had, this and that. But no, we've been allowed to entertain, and we've been allowed to entertain.